is up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. Tuesday night happening. It's the Dynasty Show where we talk Dynasty every Tuesday here at 10 p.m. Eastern. What is good, y'all? What is good? We're doing basically Q&A today. Let's talk some rookies. Let's talk rookie drafts. Let's talk about what's happening in some of your rookie drafts. A lot has happened even since just like last week. I'm seeing like Michael Penix going in the back of the first round. I'm taking a bunch of Michael Penix in the back of the first round. But what is good? Bogey in the house. What up, Bogey? Daniel Berry. What's good? Happy Tuesday, bro. It's Dynasty Tuesday. Kev, what up, Kev? Kendrick or Drake? I don't even know, man. I don't even get all up into all that. I don't listen to much nowadays, but I like Drake just because he could do a little bit of everything. But Kendrick, I think, is a better like rapper. But yeah, what's going on in some of your rookie drafts? Do you guys have rookie drafts that are going on right now? I think I'm still in one. Yeah, I'm still in one right now. I've done the majority of my rookie drafts already. I think I have like two more to go to the current one I'm in, which somebody just gave up a 2026 first to get the 209 and the 309, which is crazy. Considering like the quarterbacks are gone already and all that. But yeah, I've been seeing some people make some crazy moves. I mean, right now is the season. Like the rookie fever is here. You know, nobody wants the vets. Everybody wants all these picks, these seconds, these thirds. Everybody's willing to spend up. Brooks is moving higher in first rounds too. That's true. That's true. I'm seeing Brooks go higher. I'm seeing Penix go higher. Burton is starting to move up the board. Let me see where I'm at in some of this in this other one. I'm seeing Ricky Pearsall fall to the late seconds, which we kind of were seeing already, um, but yeah, I mean, you're also seeing a lot of like good third round value too, like Roman Wilson, Javon Baker, all the running backs, of course. Derek in the house. What up, Derek? You're still seeing Penix in the mid second. Yeah, I mean, it all depends. I mean, I think I was only in one league where he fell to the mid second. So he fell in this one league to the 2-6. And I'm trying to get the pick. And no matter what I'm throwing at this guy, he's not budging for it. But I really want Penix. I don't want him to take Penix. The guy after him needs a quarterback. So I'm thinking the next guy up is gonna take Penix. So and in this particular league, my team is pretty good. It's tight end premium. I've got what do I have? I got two of the top tight ends. I got Laporta and McBride to go along with like CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen, Jared Goff. So my team's in pretty decent position. I've got 325 first. So I wind up sending my 26 first to this guy. And wound up getting the pick. I think I got like it was like the 206 and like a fourth or something like that. And I wind up taking Penix. And I spent my 26 first. But like I said, my team's in good shape. I've got quarterbacks. I've got 325 first. So I've got a lot to play with. You figure by 2026 at least, like Penix has still got to be worth a first at that point. But I decided to risk it a little bit on this. I don't advise always giving up first, especially for going after like a second round pick. But we're talking about Penix. We're talking about a top 10 quarterback that was drafted in the NFL. So and what is he going to be worth when he's finally the actual starter? So, but yeah, I'll buy Penix in the second round all day. I'm okay with moving up and getting Penix. If Penix is making it into the second, like I'm grabbing him. Brooks is moving higher. Yeah, we talked about that. Derek's on Twitch too. I saw Worthy picked at the 1-4 and 1-3. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that yet. I've seen Worthy be like the first wide receiver off the board, like after the big three, like that fourth guy. I've seen him be the fourth guy come off a few times, but I think for the most part, what I've seen is Worthy be that third guy. Like I've seen Brian Thomas go, and I've seen what's his name, McConkey go. I've seen Brian Thomas Jr. fall to the 201, 202, and actually a couple drafts as well. Yeah, as soon as he's playing, he's worth the first, and like I said, like, I've got like, my team's in good position, I've got first for next year, like, so I'm good. I didn't mind spending it. I wouldn't necessarily advise it, but if you have, like, the assets, your team is in decent shape. I'm also trying to fix up a team as well, like this orphan team, no picks. No 24 picks, no 25 picks, no 26 picks, a bunch of old guys like Tyler Lockett, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerome Ford, only Deshaun Watson's the only quarterback, and I'm trying to fix that team up, which was in such a bad shape. But I'm actually making some progress on it. Maybe I'll bring it up and talk to you guys about it and see kind of if anybody else has got any ideas because the team is in bad shape. Philip, what up, Philip? What's good, Philip? Josh in the house. What up, Josh? What's good, brother? Albert, what's up, Albert? It's been a while. What is good, brother? But yeah, I've seen Bo Nix falling into the second, right? Falling 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 even. I've seen him go. But for me, it's like, I mean, at first it was exciting, right? There's a bunch of these rookies that are coming in. There's like a huge tier, but like I'm not even that excited anymore. Typically after like the 2-1, like I just don't know. Like all these guys, it's just such a huge tier. Like, so what I've been doing, I had the 105. No, I had the 1-7 in one draft. And this is that horrible team that I'm trying to fix up. So I end up having the 1-7, moved back to the 111 and the 2-1. And I'm just planning on taking Penix at the back end of the first. I moved the 2-1 for a 2026 first. Um, in another league, I had the 2-2. Both of the quarterbacks wind up going at that point. I wind up moving back, getting like the 2-7 and the 2-11. Just trying to like I'll take two shots in a second instead of just one. Like it's just rough. It's just a huge tier. But again, not all these guys are going to pan out. There's going to be disappointments, and we've got to understand that. Hammer's on a hiatus. I think Hammer's taking a little Hammer's taking a little break. Hammer's taking a break, so it's just me. He's got shit going on, so only me, Derek, for now at least. Next week I think I'm gonna bring a guest on for next week, and we'll see what we'll do after that. But I've been seeing Vidal go a lot earlier now. Like as time is going by, people are catching up a little bit, right? A lot of these running backs now are going a little bit earlier than they were, the first couple days after the draft. And a lot of these receivers are moving up the board too. Like I'm seeing Burton moved up a lot too. But I mean, for me, like in the third round, like Burton is an automatic smash. If I've got any third round picks where Burton's available, I'm smashing him in the third round every time. And I've been kind of pumping it up for Burton, and hopefully he don't fail me. But I mean, for a third round pick, I'll take him there all day compared to everyone else who's kind of left at that end. Javon Baker's been moving up. Been seeing him go a lot earlier. I've got no shares of Luke McCaffrey. I don't know how you guys feel about Luke McCaffrey, but I feel like he'll get a shot. Like he's a good football player. I don't know what he's gonna do for us, like fantasy wise. Diaz, what up, Diaz? People are very thirsty for any of these picks. Any of these picks. I'm fine with just moving back. Give me one of the late seconds and a future second. I'll move back. That's fine. But yeah, any way that you can take advantage of people that are like just really, really want these rookies. I mean, the conviction is crazy on some of these guys. And I like a lot of these guys, but they're not all gonna pan out, right? Rookie draft, I was able to get Brooks at the 2-7. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've seen him go that late at all. Um, even Benson, the latest I've seen him go is like 2-5, 2-6. He's typically going, early seconds sometime after Jonathan Brooks. Yeah, people are very thirsty for running backs. Corum go 112ish. Yeah, that's a little crazy. I mean, they're good, but they're just running backs. I mean, what are we gonna do next year when all these good running backs are coming out? Everybody's gonna be loving those guys, and then some of these guys are not gonna be too valuable. But again, like all of those guys, like we have to hope that Corum and even Wright and all these other running backs, like we're just waiting for an injury to happen for us to get our few games or hopefully full season, of them being able to, take the majority of the carries. Like we see that all the time. Who's going to be the Jerome Ford of this year? Who's going to be the Zach Moss of this year? Because they're out there. We don't know who those guys are going to be yet, but that's why we stash all these backup running backs. Benson went 2-9. Yeah, that's crazy. In the 21, he went 2-9. Did he really? Well, we do have some defense in there. I don't know if anybody took defense before that, but yeah, even the 2-9, that's way late. No flex leave. 11 starters, 2 QB. AR, Love, Penix, Kirk. Shane went 3 elite wide receivers. Clay went 4 QBs. Only one manager has only 1 QB. Wow. Yeah. Damn. Hassan, what's up, Hassan? Cinco de Mayo was good. Not too bad. I don't even think I did anything except drink Mountain Dew and light up. But how was yours, bro? How was yours? What's good, Derek? That was the draft. I don't think I can click. I can't click on it from here. But I'm in the 21. I could pull it up probably. Daring us to take another QB. Tight ends are soaked up. It's all wide receiver twos, RB twos, tight end twos. What do you think I should do? Let's see. I mean, if you got to take up another QB, I mean, people are going to want QBs eventually, but tight end ones are soaked up. Wide receiver twos, RB twos, tight end twos. You said this was 3 running backs, right? 3 running backs and 2 tight ends. Mm. I mean, you could go RB. I mean, that's tough because you got to start 3, which is different. Or do you just go wide receiver and grab a bunch of these like RB3 flexes, RB4s, a whole bunch of backups, and just play whoever? You said it was 0.75 tight end premium. So yeah, even tight ends too. Like I'd go after tight ends too. Chase Brown, what up, Chase Brown? Are you getting the majority of the carries this year, or is it going to be Zach Moss? Which side do you like in a Superflex Dynasty League? The 1-1 and Devontae, or Flowers and the 1-3? I mean, it's Superflex. Like I want Caleb. I mean, I'll take the 1-1. Give me Caleb. I mean, Flowers isn't enough really to make me move down to the 1-3, like so yeah, I'm getting the 1-1 side there. QB Horde, DK on the board, Kenneth Walker, Goddard, Schultz. Ooh, okay. My problem with Goddard is like he never is fucking healthy. This guy can never play a full season. So I'd probably stay away from him. I'd feel safer with Schultz, even though they have a bunch of weapons on that squad. DK or Kenneth Walker. It could be Kenny. Is it point per carry, did you say? Or no? Or any kind of points per carry? I don't remember if it was no, I don't think you said it in there. I mean, being that you gotta start the running backs, maybe it's Kenny Walker or is it Schultz with the premium? I'd probably lean Walker or Schultz, but that's a close one. That's close. QB is juice. There is points per carry. Okay, so it's probably Walker. I'd probably lean Walker then, and then the tight end. Not in the 21? Are you sure? Or am I in the 22? I'm in the 22 and the 19, actually. Never mind, Derek. My bad. Not contending this year. So, yeah, you're taking Caleb, man. You're taking Caleb at the 1-1. I mean, Flowers is nice because he's younger than Devontae, but no, if I'm getting the 1-1, figure out something that you can do with Devontae. Can you add can you add a second onto Devontae or something of that nature to pick up a first, 25 first? You're not contending, right? Just an idea of maybe somehow you can get off of Adams and maybe get some kind of first. 40 chess match. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You have the 1-1 and Adam. Yeah, so you're not moving to the 1-3 for just Zay Flowers. I mean, you're gonna get a good player there, but you're missing out on the top two. Like that's a tier in itself, with Caleb and Marvin. So if you're not contending, you're probably going Caleb because you probably don't have QBs. Ryan, what up, Ryan? Dynasty Superflex. Win now. Send Hurts and Tank Dell for Josh Allen. Tank Dell is your wide receiver 6. I'm okay with that. Move up to Josh Allen. I'm okay with that, especially if he's your wide receiver 6. Yeah. Yeah, give me Josh. I'll take that. QBs are Allen and Love already, so would prob go Marv. I mean, you could. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Or you can take Caleb, roll with Allen and Caleb, and then sell Love, or you can roll with Love and Caleb and sell Allen. I mean, unless you really want Marv, like I'm not totally opposed to it. You got Allen, so I'm okay with going Marv there. Need wide receiver depth badly. Well, I mean, listen, you have the 101. Can you move down to the 102? Is there someone desperate enough for a quarterback where you can pick up some kind of piece on top of it, still get Marvin Harrison? Like, who needs a quarterback? There's got to be somebody in your league that wants to take Caleb. So can you move down to the 1-2? Because the 1-3 is not guaranteeing you Marvin. Maybe you can take Neighbors there, but I'm not making Flowers the difference. So can I move down to the 1-2 and get some kind of piece? Walker, Cook, White, Pacheco, Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Walker. I think overall, those guys, I like Walker the best. Nah. Who would you draft with the 101 in a rap battle, Kendrick or Drake? Yeah, I'd probably take Kendrick if we're just talking about a rap battle. Um, Bayou, what up, brother? Hope you're well. Football season can't get here fast enough. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And Dynasty don't end, so we're year round. Year round talking Dynasty. It never ends. Rashid Rice now getting into more trouble. I mean, this damn guy. But yeah, there's always something going on, something to talk about. Rookie drafts, of course, going on as well. DK, Tank, Rice, Worthy, BTJ, Flowers, Higgins. Yeah, I mean, all those guys are it's the same kind of. I'd probably take Walker, like, because there's like a big teardrop almost after. So I probably like Walker Diaz. 1-2 guy won't trade down. Says he will take whoever falls to him. Fair, fair. So take who you want at the 1-1 then. I'm not moving to the 1-3 unless I'm getting significant assets on top, because now I'm moving from Marvin to Neighbors, and we all like Neighbors as well, but if if you're gonna move down, like, that guy's got to pay up. Does he have an extra first? Can you get Neighbors like Eno Dunze? Does he have like a 1-5, 1-6 or something like that? Like, that's probably the only way that I'd want to move down. Flowers is not enough. You always are by you. I see you. I see you. Before Riley got into his new shit, Chiefs were already telling him they're considering letting him go. Crazy. I don't. I mean, why? There's nothing that there's nothing that we can do as fans, except maybe try and buy low. But do you even want to do that? Like, at this point, like, with some of the other guys they got on the squad, like, is it worth it to get Rice? Like, we know he's not no wide receiver one. He's never good. We've always said that on this channel. We've always said that Rashee Rice was not going to be, this wide receiver one. So is he in the wide receiver two category with a bunch of those guys, like, that huge tier of wide receivers? Is it just worth going after someone else in that tier? He's got the 204 and the 3-1. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Won't be enough. So yeah, he views Flowers in a different tier than who cares what he think? Forget about Adams even in that deal anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, from the 1-1 to the 1-3, I need something that is going to make it worth it for me. I'm dropping down from a top 5 dynasty wide receiver in Marvin Harrison to, I mean, I guess Neighbors maybe not that far behind, but even still, like, the situation, everything, no. I need more than Flowers. You have to make it worth it for me. Then he doesn't want the 1-1 that much then. Then he doesn't want the 1-1 that much. Just move on. Forget about it. If he wants it that bad, then he'll pay up for it. If he doesn't want to value it as what it is, then leave him at the 1-3. Rice sucks against press and man cover. Yeah, we always knew that. He's a good zone beater, but he struggled against man, and you saw that in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. Like, nobody could get open almost. But yeah, Chase, I'm not. He's got to make it worth it. Zay is not enough. Even if it's the 1-3 Enze Flowers, I'm not moving off the 1-1 without even adding Devontae into that. Yeah, it's his 1-1. Even more that you got to pay up for it. You got to charge the tax on it. Because it doesn't bother you. You just draft Marvin. That's it. Yeah, most of the league is zone nowadays. They play a lot more zone nowadays, so it's good. But that's the thing. Like, some of these guys that aren't great at, like, separating or getting off the line and press coverage, like, those guys are best in the slot. You know they are. But what are you guys thinking about Pearsall? Like, I've seen him drop to the end of, like, the second rounds. Going to the late seconds. I'm seeing AD Mitchell, Leggett, Polk. all these guys getting drafted before Pearsall. And I know the situation is not great, at least for year one, right? We know they've got weapons over there, but we're playing Dynasty, right? We're not just looking at this particular year. Everybody wants the points like right now. They want the guys right now that have the opportunities. But what's the chances like the Niners keep both of the wide receivers they have, like Debo and Ayuk? Yeah, Keon was the same way. I mean, Keon, you saw QJ last year, same thing. Jonathan Mingo, like they were forced to play outside and they did not succeed. Like those were their weaknesses. But Keon, I mean, Keon's interesting, but still, who would you aim for at the 104 and a 1 QB, 104 and 110? Marv Neighbors, Rome. I don't know how I feel about Bowers. I mean, if it's not a tight end premium, like I'm not crazy up going to get him, especially in a 1 QB. 1-4, you can talk about what the three wide receivers, right? Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, McConkey. I mean, I wouldn't even be opposed to taking like a Jonathan Brooks like that high up after the top three wide receivers. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Some of these teams don't play the guys in the right spots or don't set them up to succeed, and it sucks. But one of these guys, somebody's going to work out. Like, I mean, if I wanted one of them to work out the most, like it'd be Keon of like the Legettes and Polks and all that. Yeah, that's good for us. That's when we're buying. We're buying when the value is low. I mean, everybody's so short-sighted. 1 year, 1 year. I mean, first off, Debo is hurt all the damn time. So, there's a chance that Pearsall gets some love this particular year. But like I'm not worried about Debo for the long run. I'm not. Debo's not like he's never. I've always hated Debo. He's always been on the sell list for me. He's not like a wide receiver. Wide receiver. He's not good against man. Like he needs the ball in his hands. He's a good yak guy. Um, but I've never liked Debo, and his time could be coming to an end over there. So I don't think they need to keep Debo. I really don't. I don't think he's a must keep for them. So Chase said it is tight end premium. So yeah, in that case, Bowers would come into play. I want the points now and later. Yeah, I mean everybody wants the points. Everybody wants the points now. But that's another reason why, like, if I've got some of these early seconds, like I'm fine moving back. Give me a give me a mid second, give me a late second and a future pick, or a 2 and a 3 or something like that. I'm fine moving down. Like that's what I've been trying to do is just pick up an extra pick with it. If you can push one of those out to next year, that works. There are other wide receivers starting now, either at the 1 or 2 for their team that I can draft before Pearsall. Yeah, but what are they really gonna do the first season? That do we think any of these guys are gonna be top 24 guys? Wide receiver 2 is going into their first season. Other than those top guys, right? After the Brian Thomases and maybe Keon Coleman's of the world, like after that, like I mean, I don't know if any of these guys are finishing as some kind of wide receiver twos. The point differential might not be that far apart. So I don't know. It's a very weird like situation. That whole tier of those wide receivers. Everybody has them mixed up a different way. Everybody likes who they like, and for whatever reason. Um, but for me, like if you're just looking at the numbers, you're looking at history, right? Pearsall was a first round wide receiver. I mean, he is great against man coverage, which 49ers aren't outside of Brandon Ayuk. So I like Pearsall. He's a first round talent, and he's in a good situation. I mean, it's a bad. He's a good situation as far as the team he's in and the offense. Like they've got a quarterback. Bad situation as in the wide receivers that they have right now. Like obviously there's other guys there, but I'm not like Pearsall. I don't expect Pearsall to maybe ever be a real wide receiver one for us in fantasy. Can he be a wide receiver two? Sure. Like, but that's where we have to be realistic. Like, how many of these guys are actually going to reach a wide receiver one status for us in fantasy, right? There's only 12 spots, right? You still got the CDs and the Chases and the JJs, right? Like, I mean, there's not that much room for all these guys to finish as wide receiver ones. It's not going to happen. Like, Brandon Ayuk hasn't even finished as a wide receiver one. So it like just understand like what you're getting from some of these guys and what maybe your expectations, should be. Because if you want points, there's always points to buy during the season. There's always veterans to buy during the season on shitty teams that need to that need to rebuild, and you can buy some of these veteran guys if you want points, instead of, wasting on some of these guys or hoping that some of these guys give you the points, right? I mean, Jacoby Myers is like a perfect example. I think did he finish as a wide receiver too? I mean, nobody even thinks about Jacoby Myers, but he's going to give you decent production. Yeah, they are gonna keep both of them this year. We get that for sure. But again, we're playing Dynasty. We're not just looking at the one season. And then the other thing is to understand, like with the quarterbacks, like stop letting Bo Nix slide, stop letting Penix slide because they're quarterbacks. Once they're starting and they're starting quarterbacks week in and week out, like you could trade these guys. It's crazy how like all the values change, right? So, at one point, like Tank Dell, you can get like a late first for, right? Or anybody kind of in that range. You ain't getting the first for those guys right now. It's crazy how the values change once we're in rookie drafts, right? How you can't get a first, how you can't get a first for some of these guys. How you can't get even a second or a third for some of these guys. I can't even get a second for Derrick Henry right now because everybody loves all these rookies. One guy who has QBs or Hurts, Stroud, and wide receivers, hey man, only has 212, then all 2025 picks. All right. He wants the 1-1. I mean, you said you already got quarterbacks, so I mean, St. Brown maybe if you want him over Marv, but he doesn't have much. Like, you need an overpay to get rid of it. Like, St. Brown, Marv, they're kind of in the same tier there. Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Bogey. One more year, they'll probably run it back. Think they can be. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's possible, but if you look at the draft capital, you look at the profiles, like not all these guys don't all have great profiles. Like, you look at the history and you look at the profiles and everything, and then you look at the draft capital, you look at where they're getting taken in rookie drafts, and you got to play the numbers, right? Play the number game. Unfortunately, not all these guys are hitting. Not all these guys are being wide receiver ones. It's possible, but that's where like people get that rookie fever and are willing to just pay all this, to pay up to go and get some of these guys. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of talented guys, but again, there's only 24 guys that could finish as wide receiver ones and twos. And there's a lot of good wide receivers in the NFL that are a lot better than some of these guys in the situations that they have. Like I said, after like that 2-1, 2-2, it's a bunch of like good wide receivers. But again, like where are they maxing out at? What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? What is the most likely scenario? I'm sure it's, finds itself somewhere in the middle of that. Well, wide receiver depth for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, as far as the top guys, like, I'm all for it, the Harrison, the Neighbors, the Odunze. I mean, Worthy has a good opportunity, McConkey, Brian Thomas, and Coleman. I think those guys all have good opportunities to really be, something for us. These other guys, I don't know. I'm not willing to bet on it. You know what I mean? I don't have the conviction for all of those guys. That's why I'm just moving down in that second round. Give me some future assets. Give me 2 seconds. Give me a second and a third. Let me take a couple shots, and hopefully one of these guys, pans out. But and listen, what's the chances like that Keenan Allen stays healthy too? I mean, he's an older guy, right? Odunze could do well this first season. I mean, if Keenan Allen ain't healthy, obviously that's best case scenario. But again, another guy who we're looking at, maybe 1 year from now. We're not looking at that production right now. Like we can't expect these rookie guys to come in here and help us like win a championship right off the bat. Like we shouldn't be relying on any of these guys unless again, it's the Marvin, the Caleb, the Neighbors, some of those guys, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, it takes time, and I mean, yeah, conviction. Exactly. I don't. I mean, I'm not convicted on almost any of these guys. I mean, you can convict yourself of any narrative that you want. Like you can talk yourself into a story that works for every single one of these guys. You can. But the reality is they're just not all going to hit. They're not all going to be like what we think they're going to be or be difference makers. Look at all those wide receiver twos from, dynasty wide receiver like 10 to 30. It's a huge tier of guys, right? And now we're just kind of adding a bunch more guys kind of to the back end of that. Some are going to survive, some are not. But yeah, I mean, like I said, take advantage when you can. Take these quarterbacks, take Bo Nix, take Penix before you're taking the AD Mitchells, the Jalen Polks, like the Xavier Legettes. Like take the quarterbacks before those guys. That's my advice. And Diaz, I kind of did something that you did. Actually, you did, I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago, where you moved back and then both quarterbacks win and you got screwed out of it. That happened to me in another league. And I'm just not doing it anymore. Now I'm just taking Penix. I don't even care. 110, 111, 112. I'm taking Penix in the back end of the first. And if I'm moving back maybe one spot where I know at least I'm getting at least a Penix or a Nix. You can make an argument for even the guys before that, the Worthies, the McConkeys, um, and the Brian Thomases. You can make the argument to take quarterbacks there at that point. Like they're just going to be worth more. Like we know how hard it is to get a quarterback, to get a starting quarterback when you need one. How much do you have to pay? You're going to be paying all of these wide receivers that you're taking, plus more to go and get a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix, and you took the wide receivers before them. Yeah, I'm with that too, Diaz. Especially in year one. Especially in year one. Penix went at 2-2. Yeah. Bo Nix went at 111. That's typically where you see him back end first and early second. Like I said, I've seen Penix fall a few times to the mid second, and I'm like, even early second, I'm trying my best to kind of get up there, at the cheapest as possible. But I'm trying to move up and lock those guys up before I'm taking any of these other wide receivers. Again, not that they're not going to be good. I just don't know. Like, we just don't know. We don't know. Like Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, yeah, those guys are great. What happens next year when they sign T. Higgins to a contract? Like, what are we thinking then at that point? Like, things change every single year. And a lot of these guys do not have the elite college production to be actual like fantasy wide receiver ones. And I think like that's one of the most important things like I am trying to talk about is just not everybody's going to be a wide receiver one. Like we love so many of these guys and we think they're going to be so great. And then what happens when they're putting up just you know, a DK Metcalf type season last year? What if they just become DK Metcalf? Like, are we that excited? Nobody's excited about DK Metcalf right now. Great wide receiver, but kind of stuck in that mix. That's like best case scenario for all of these guys almost. It's like a DK Metcalf type career. Because it happened to me, Diaz. It happened to me. It happened to me, bro. I went from the 110 to the 201, I think, or the 111 to the 202. Um, and then boom, Penix and fucking Knicks went right after. It was something of that nature. I'll take DK Metcalf. Yeah, but that's best case scenario. That's best case. That's if any of these guys can become what DK Metcalf is, and none of these guys have the talent of DK Metcalf. Right? Can Leggett pull himself together? Like there's comparisons of him and Keon Coleman, like, but that's best case scenario. And even still, not many people love DK Metcalf right now. Like who wants to go buy DK Metcalf right now? And again, that's best case scenario. And that is probably a small percentage that can possibly even happen for any of these guys. That does hurt Diaz. So I'm not fucking around no more. We are, you know, if I've multiple leagues anywhere from like the 1-4 to the 1-7. I've just been moving back. Give me a late first, and a second, and then I try and attack like the Penix or the Knickses. Because I'd rather take Penix than take McCarthy or Drake May at the 1-5, 1-6, 1-7. Like I'd rather take Penix. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I tried to do the same thing, and then once I got burnt, I was like you. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. Not doing that again. How can I see recent trades that I made? I should be able to see that shit somewhere. I know I had a couple of trades on this orphan team. We had like no picks, and I wound up getting a bunch of I wound up making a few trades. So traded the 107 for the 111 and 201 in one league. And this is like a total rebuild. It was an orphan team, literally zero picks, no 24 picks, no 25 picks, no 26 picks, a bunch of old ass, you know, Hopkins, Lockett's, Kittles, Monty's, and I traded Jerome Ford and the 201, and I got a 2026 first. I traded Hopkins, Lockett, and Kittle for Green Bay tight end Kraft, the 201. No, hold on, I lied. Yeah, Kraft the 201 and the 312, and that's when I traded the 201 for the 26 first. And like I went from literally no picks now to 111, 312, 403. I got 225 seconds and the 26 first, trying to revamp this trash ass team that's got absolutely nothing. So that's been a little project that I've been working on this orphan team. I should take pictures and try and post all the trades and everything. This way you guys can see what exactly I did. Mhm. But yeah, I've got one, two. I got three more rookie drafts to go. And one is happening now. The other two, I think, are not for like another month or so. Mm. And by that time, I mean, a lot of other things are going to change too, right? We're going to start seeing clips come out. You've already saw like Xavier Worthy dropping a pass, like you're seeing Stafford throwing some passes, like you're seeing Garrett Wilson. People saw it today, so like everybody's seeing these clips, and now all these guys are being talked about. She Rice's dumbass, of course. But yeah, what else? What other questions you guys got? What do you want to talk about? Tonight's probably going to be a shorter show. Probably just go like an hour or so. So another, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Whatever you guys want to talk about. Next week I'll have a guest on the show. I think I'm going to have Fantasy Flojo on. Whoever is familiar with Fantasy Flojo on Instagram, part of the Shot Callers. Uh, cool people. So we'll do a rookie draft next week. Like me and him, we'll go through like each pick. I'll pick first round up to we'll probably do the first two rounds, 101, 102. We'll just go back and forth, make some picks, talk about these guys, see where we are differentiating. Can't even talk. And talk about some of these guys. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, Penix has been like my favorite target, my number one target in almost all of my leagues, pretty much. Even if I don't need a quarterback, so I just want it, and I don't have that what's that word? The conviction. I don't have the conviction on like a lot of these guys. Like I love all these. Like I love Burton. I love Javon Baker. Like I like Roman Wilson. I like Troy Franklin. Like I like those guys. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not like convicted that they're like anything special that we're gonna see. I mean, we do the same shit every year, right? We like all so many guys, and then only so many actually work out. Now, yes, it was a great like deep wide receiver class, but what are they gonna do for us, in fantasy? Like I like AD Mitchell. I don't love the spot that he went to. Like he ain't gonna be a wide receiver one. I mean, you got Michael Pittman there. Can he even be a wide receiver two? Are they gonna pass enough? Like Josh Downs is still there. You got a rushing quarterback. You got Jonathan Taylor. Like you've got other weapons there. Xavier Legette. I mean, one good season of college production. Can separate well, can't get off the line well. It's not good against press coverage. Like, and they're gonna play him at the X, like, which is his weakness. Like, so like there's just too many things have to go right for a lot of these guys where like I'd rather just bet on the talent of the Brian Thomas Jr. and that upside. I'd rather bet on the Ricky Pearsall, who's got the first round draft capital. But again, I'll trade these guys very easily. Easily. You drafted McConkey in one league. I've already got him on the block looking to trade him. People just fucking love him so much. Who are the rookie sleepers round 3 and 4? If you follow me on Instagram, I've posted pretty much sleepers, values, guys that I like. But anywhere in the third round, third round, fourth round, I'm digging out all of these running backs, right? Corum, Lloyd, let's see. Everybody knows, Kamani Vidal, I like. Dylan Lobb, I like. Rasheen Ali, I like. But you're taking the Estimes, the Shipleys, the Garendos, the Ray Davises. If you want to go deeper than that, like the Blake Watsons, Jace McClellans, I mean, the Isaiah Davises, Cody Schraders. I mean, any of the running backs you're going to want to try and stash. Like as far as wide receivers, I've seen Roman Wilson fall to the third. Troy Franklin, Javon Baker, Jermaine Burton has been my favorite target in the third round. That's like an automatic smash for me. If you want to go deeper, you're talking about like Brendan Rice on the Chargers. I mean, they don't got much talent over there. Can he possibly get a chance? Um, who else? So Jacob Cowings is like a decent stash. I mean, the deepest of stashes is my guy Jalen Coker. That's pretty much as far as I go down there, but those are particular guys that I particularly like. Any running back, it doesn't matter who it is. If they're in a backfield, you want to just kind of stash them because we don't know who that guy's going to be. We can make like good guesses, but we just never know. No, I'm the opposite. Once you get into those third and fourth rounds, I'm banging out all running backs. I'm not taking chances on most of those wide receivers. Unless, like I said, if it's the Javon Bakers and the Burtons and the Franklins, and even those guys are going like end of second. So, those guys that are left in like the thirds, like I don't have Corley, like you can miss me on Corley, miss me on Cowing, Devontae Walker. I mean, miss me on most of all those guys. I'll just take the running backs. The chances that those guys actually become something all the way down there is slim to none. You're better off taking chances on a bunch of running backs than wide receivers. Took Bowers and Coleman instead. I mean, if you like those guys better, like that's fine. But I bet you once we get into the season, you can trade Bo Nix for Keon Coleman plus. Brock Bowers depends obviously if it's tight and premium or not, but once Coleman doesn't do well the first few games and Bo Nix is decent. Same thing with Penix. What happens when he's a starter in 2026? I mean, you kidding me? He's going to be worth probably multiple firsts at that point. You'd have to pay like 3 Keon Colemans to get Penix, unless he does turn into that wide receiver one. But even still, you're getting Coleman plus for Penix. Who will be the next Puka? I don't necessarily think there is a next Puka. He was what, 5th round draft pick. I mean, Javon Baker's a 4th round draft pick. But he was even talked about like beforehand. A lot of people like Javon Baker. Like not a lot of people like talked about Puka beforehand. Like if you want to just talk about straight like value in the draft, like I think, like I said, Jermaine Burton is one of the guys that I really like. But I don't think there is an actual Puka. Like guys that actually got drafted like in the 5th. Like I don't think there is a Puka. I don't think, for a long time we didn't have like that's an outlier. Puka was an outlier. That is something that's going to happen, once in a blue, but 99 out of 100 times like that's not happening. But guess what? It was that one time. So I don't necessarily think there's any Pukas. But there are a lot of people out there that do think there is a Puka out there that are taking shots on some of these wide receivers like late in the draft. Let them take those shots. Take advantage, you know. Push out some picks to next year if you want, give you some ammunition during the season to use. Yeah, listen, Puka was a guy that we had talked about last season, to get late in drafts. Um, he was somebody that we did wind up talking about. So yeah, a lot of people wind up taking him 4th round, waivers in some leagues. Next 2-5. But I passed on JJ. Instead, I drafted Rome. Yeah, that's awesome. Like you lucked out there where you passed up on the quarterback. You were able to get Rome, but then you're still able to get Penix at the 2-5. Like I'm just seeing like as time is going by and we are like weeks from like the NFL draft and all that already. Like now, more and more people are hopping on the Penix train. More and more people are taking him earlier, because he was like a late second, mid second, like almost all the time, right off the bat, the first few days, the first week or so. But now, like I said, he's moving up little by little, moving up little by little. And all of these running backs, literally, other than the top two, Brooks and Benson, are all waiting for an injury to happen for them to be useful. They're literally like all the same. But yeah, what else? What else you guys got? Mm. Before I hop up out of here? Like I said, next week I'll bring a guest on, so we'll have some fun next week. Oh, when the 22 Penix went at 2-5, did he? I don't even remember. What did I have in that league? I don't. Oh, I had the 101 and 102. Where is it? So the 22, I mean, I turned this fucking team around. CD, Chase, Marvin, Waddle, JSN, Ferguson in this 7-5 tight end premium, Deshaun Watson, Caleb Williams. I think I got J-Mo on the bench. Mooney. No, I don't have J-Mo in this one. But yeah, we turn shit around. And I got most of these guys by like stacking up picks and then adding on, like tearing up. In the 19, I think same kind of thing. I wound up getting JT. I got Kyler Watson and Bryce Young at QB, CD, Marvin, Neighbors, JSN. We're just trying to move up. I think in another league, I wound up, where is it? And Diaz, that one league that I think it's Huss's, the $30 super flex one. Like Dak and Golf, and then I got Chase, Amon-Ra, and CD. I mean, I don't know why they let me do that. But yeah, I mean, these people want these picks so bad, the rookie fever, and I'm just okay. Take my picks, give me the chases, give me the CDs. I'll pay up for it, But collect those picks, like Diaz says, collect those first, right? Because what you can do with those things, like you start building up a team rather quickly once you have the assets to do so. It took one down season from Jamar Chase, an injury to Joe Burrow, for you to just be able to buy Jamar Chase. But before that, he was almost unattainable, right? Justin Jefferson, like there was no QB. For a while, he was attainable. Like people are willing to get rid of him because they don't know the quarterback situation or because there was an injury that happened. Like too many people are thinking about the short term and thinking about what has happened recently, and you can take advantage of those situations. I think Higgins is getting traded. I don't. I think they're just going to run it. I think they're going to try and run it, and we'll see what happens next season. But it's possible. You never know. You never know. Michael Carter droppable. I know running back is really necessarily droppable if you've got the room. Depending who's available. I don't know who's available or who's not, like how deep the rosters are. So it's hard for me to say if he's droppable or not. But if there's a better person to pick up, then sure. Otherwise, I'm always trying to stash as many running backs as I can. Typically, you'll see on my teams great wide receivers, good quarterbacks, trash can running backs, and I'll just buy the running backs when it's time. Like, I have no problem going into the season and starting fucking Antonio Gibson and fucking Rico Dowdle. Like, I'll wind up fixing it because shit is gonna happen. And then you can buy guys during the season. Like, there's no reason to spend on running backs right now. We were just having this conversation in the Discord chat, like about buying running backs right now. Like, it's just not worth it. I mean, some of these guys are going to tear their shit in preseason, in training camp. Like, why buy them now? Just wait. No, you're not starting a lineup right now. We're not playing any games. Nobody's scoring any points right now. Why go and buy some of these running backs at the moment? Especially if you're in startups, just soak up the value, soak up as much value as you can, and then you can trade that value. I don't care if you have 10 wide receivers and no running backs yet. Like, you can trade those wide receivers for running backs when the time is right. You can get some of the cheap guys. You don't have to buy up on all these guys that cost just way too much. Oh, Michael Thomas has been droppable for probably a couple years now. You need RBs. Yeah, everybody keeps telling me I need RBs, and I'm winning championships with Jerome Ford and Zach Moss. I mean, you do need RBs, but you need them when the time is right. There's too many injuries that happen. Too many things change during the season. There's, teams that are out of it already. You could buy their veteran running backs. Like, I'm about buying running backs when the time is right. I don't care about going into the season with them. I'm not trying to set my lineup right now. I'm not paying for those guys. I'm just gonna wait to the season. This is why you stack up on all these backups. So you do have the Fords and you have the Zach Mosses when they do have those chances, when the injuries do happen. I had the 101 rookie fever and couldn't help himself. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Had to get Williams in the 19. Yeah, I saw that. So we had talked about that. I know you had to get Caleb. You had to get Caleb there, but that left me. I think what I have the 102 and 103. So I was able to get Marv and Neighbors. I was just like, all right, I'll take the 2 wide receivers. So otherwise, I didn't mind. I wouldn't mind taking Caleb after. Works for me. Got Neighbors, Brock Penix, and the 206. Yeah. Yep. I'll take it. Yeah. Won a ship with Amir Abdullah, Abagumbawale. Yeah, I remember those. They wind up getting work in that playoff time. I mean, how many times you pay for these running backs and then sometimes they're just not there for you at the end of the season when you need it. Like, I need to score points when I need to score points. Like, I don't need to score points right now. We always talk about value, building up the value. That's why you build up the value, right? That's why if you've got, some people that are fiending for these second round picks, third round picks, move back in the draft, pick up a pick for next year, pick up a future pick. So now you're going into the season, you might not have a running back, but you know what? I got 3 seconds, I got 3 thirds. Like, I've got things I can move to get running backs now once the season starts. Give me the cheaper guys. Can I go fucking buy Zeke for one of the thirds that I have? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why pay up for some of these guys? I'd rather destroy teams at other positions. Like, I'd rather kick the shit out of you with, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and CeeDee Lamb and play fucking Chase Brown and Zeke at running back. Like, I just go cheap because I'm making up for it at other positions. I got 2 great quarterbacks. I got 3 stud wide receivers. Like, I've got a tight end for, a Mark Andrews, a tight end premium, like, there's ways that you can do it where you don't have to spend up on some of these running backs. And again, other than like the top, what, 4 or 5-ish running backs, like it's all kind of the same after that almost. You know? Marvin Neighbors. Yeah, yeah. I think that one, what is that? The 19. I think I still have some room to go there. Like, I mean, I got quarterbacks, I got decent wide receivers. We'll see what happens there. Might take one more year, but my defense is really good too. Like that's the other thing too, is that the IDPs in those songs. So and my IDPs are pretty good. So we'll see what happens during the season. I'll win people championships. Don't worry. That's what I'm talking about, Chase. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spend less and get somewhat of, decent production at the position. Give me fucking Devin Singletary. Like that's who I'm rolling in with as my RBs, on most of my squads. I just don't have great RBs because I don't feel like paying for them yet until it's that time, you know? I bought Derrick Henry last year on a championship run. Like, I don't mind buying some of these veteran guys, a Saquon, but I'm just not doing it now. I'm just not doing it now. Um, Gus Edwards and Jerome Ford in another league took me, all the way to the ship. Like, you can find guys for a lot cheaper than trying to go spend up on some of these guys that are just giving you middling production, like James Cook, Isaiah Pacheco. Like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not. Downside from Javonte in a 1 QB. I mean, typically 1 QBs are typically shallow, so the RBs, like, sometimes they matter a little bit more somewhat. Um, I don't know how people view necessarily Javonte in your league. Hold on. Let me just open up, Keep Trade Cut Quick just for a reference of, where the fuck people feel Javante's at. Javante's ass is all the way down here, like RB 18. If you want to tier down from that, how the fuck is Derrick Henry below Javonte? Obviously, just because of the age, but I don't think that's possible. Like, you're not down tiering to Derrick Henry. Like, that's why sometimes Keep Trade Cut just makes no sense. They're trying to tell you can downgrade from Javonte to Derrick Henry. Like, no. Can you buy like an older running back? I don't know. I mean, like, who's gonna want fucking Javonte? A team maybe that is gonna rebuild. Like, can you get like an old like Kamara? Even Joe Mixon, like people rather have those guys than Javonte. Brian Robinson, I don't know, Tony Pollard, Zach Moss. I mean, James Conner. It just feels like people want those guys even more than they want Javonte. Like Jerome Ford. I mean, Gus Edwards. No, man, that's a tough one. So I'm in a rebuild. So if you're in a rebuild, you're not necessarily looking at down tier. I'm just straight up getting rid of the running back. But Javante is a guy like nobody's paying for. So you have to somehow come up with some kind of package that makes it work. Like you're not just trading Javante for so and so plus almost. Like you're gonna have to work like a separate deal like for somebody else and then have Javante like thrown in there so that you can get rid of him. Can you do well, we don't really want to buy running backs actually, so got Dak, Javante, Brees, JSN, Douglas, Bateman, Ferguson, Ford, Spears, Waddle, Palmer. All right, so you've got really only Waddle, and it's a 1 QB. Ferguson, Palmer. Yeah, I mean, You got the 1, 4, 1, 10, 2. Yeah, so you got a ton of picks. 1, 4, 1, 10, 2, 3, 2, 7. So the 1, 10, 2, 3, 2, 7, 3, 3, 3, 5, 4, 3, all those picks. Can you add them on top of some of these, players that you have and tier up? Can you tier up from Javonte, right? Can you tier up from JSN? You've got Waddle in here. I mean, some people might want Waddle. Can you do some kind of tier up there? That's what I'd be looking to do. Add these picks onto some of the guys you have and go out and get some guys. Have to ship 'em mid-season. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's what I'd be doing. I'm trying to, combine these picks together to like move up in the draft, or I'm just adding these picks onto the players that you already have. Because in a 1 QB, like 110 and up, like that's just not that valuable. So I'd be trying to just tier up from the guys that you have now. If you're rebuilding, you're typically getting rid of your running backs and you're starting to build up from the wide receivers. And the other position players. So, I mean, not in that bad shape. I mean, you got Dak, you got Waddle, you got Breece. Like, you have a little bit to work with. I mean, even Ferguson, like, I mean, I've got in every league I've got Hawkinson. I've wound up getting Colby Parkinson. Like, you're in a rebuild. Like, can you trade Ferguson for something or, add some picks to him, get yourself a wide receiver and like play fucking Colby Parkinson instead of Ferguson? But yeah, that's probably what I'd be trying to do there. Work up on some wide receivers. Can you turn Breece into a top wide receiver? Can you turn, Waddle and a pick or two into a top wide receiver? Now you're rolling with Dak and two top wide receivers. Like you're looking better already from there. But what else you guys got? Before I get up out of here, I'll give another minute or two, answer any last questions before we push this to next week. But yeah, appreciate everybody for coming out as always for the Tuesday night show. You could also tier up from Ferguson too if you want. Use some of those picks to tier up. Waddle and the 110 for St. Brown. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a 1 QB. I'm not sure how many starters exactly there are, but um, yeah, I'd be okay with that tier up. But you also do need more than that too. So like, is there a way maybe that you keep Waddle and upgrade somebody else there? This way you have that player and Waddle. Like, you don't have a ton of like value outside. It's a one quarterback league, so Dak ain't really that valuable. You don't have much valuable value outside of Breece and Waddle, to be fair. Breece, Waddle, and the 1-4, like those are really like your pieces. So maybe try and trade up, maybe try and tier up without giving up Waddle. This way, at least you still have that. Even at the 1-4, like you're missing on the top three guys. Like, can you give up like JSN and the 1-4 for like some kind of top 10 guy? Like, even if you go after like maybe I don't know, maybe like an AJ Brown or something. Find teams that like are in the gutter that need to rebuild. See what kind of old guys they have, and just see what you get. Start 9. Okay. Waddle and 110 for St. Brown. Yeah, it's not horrible, but like I said, if you can keep Waddle, because then you're just gonna have St. Brown and like your team still sucks. So I think we need to move some other pieces if we can first before we just automatically do it with Waddle. Like you could just ideas. Maybe you trade Brees for a top wide receiver. Maybe at the 1-4 you can take like a Jonathan Brooks, or maybe you move back a couple picks to take Jonathan Brooks if people love some of those wide receivers up there. Maybe you add Javante with a bunch of picks and get another wide receiver. Now you're rolling with 3 wide receivers. You've got a young Jonathan Brooks as like your anchor running back. Just some ideas that are kind of just running through my head. There's a bunch of different things you can do with it, obviously, but other than that, I think I'm about to get up out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. As usual, we'll be here again 10 o'clock next week on Tuesday night for the Dynasty Show. Talk some more Dynasty. We'll talk some more rookies as we're getting now, closer and closer to the season. I mean, like I said, most of my rookie drafts are done, but we do still have some more. And then we'll start getting into like startup season as well. Like, I know a lot of people are going to wind up doing startups if they haven't already. A lot of new startups already started, but all right, y'all. I will see y'all next week. Appreciate everybody. Drop that like for us. Drop that subscribe if you are new. But appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next